Shelter staff couldn't believe it when they saw him. Gumby was back again. Mind you, this wasn't the first or even the third time that he had escaped as humans and returned to the shelter. It had happened so often, in fact, they were forced to consider a more permanent solution. Don't let the innocent look on Gumby's face fool you, because he's actually a cunning escape artist. He wouldn't be the first person to fall for his demure act and puppy dog eyes, however. He's actually managed to dupe the Charleston Animal Society too. His story started in September 2014 when someone brought him to the animal shelter in South Carolina. Although he was allegedly a stray, 7-year-old Gumby was very well kept for a street dog. He was actually fit and healthy, with none of the malnutrition problems common in abandoned pets. The staff at CAS had some theories about Gumby's situation. It was possible, they thought, that his owner had not long rejected him or that he'd run away from home. Gumby's also a mixed breed hound, the like of which are often used as hunting dogs, and some believe that these dogs' owners sometimes abandon them if they don't perform well. However Gumby found his way to CAS, though, the shelter dedicated itself to finding him the forever home he truly deserved. That proved harder than CAS expected, however. It wasn't that no one wanted Gumby, quite the opposite in fact, but the dog wouldn't settle down. 3 days after his initial adoption, for instance, Gumby ran away from home and returned to the CAS shelter. As a result, CAS tried Gumby with another home. This one was more successful, but only just. Gumby found his way back to the shelter 6 days later. Consequently, CAS realized that Gumby was not only a mastermind, but he was also an expert escape artist. He climbed fences, opened doors. Nothing could keep him from returning to the shelter. Not even the love of his adopters could quench the hound's wanderlust, it seemed. Gumby's determined third owner even tried more than once to give the dog a good home. But the hound's heart belonged somewhere else, and the dog always escaped. In fact, he went back to the shelter 4 times via one method or another. On one of these occasions, animal control returned Gumby, and a kind-hearted citizen found him another time. His then owner also returned him twice because he worried that Gumby would hurt himself trying to escape. And ultimately, the man said a heartfelt goodbye and returned the hound to CAS for the last time. Unsurprisingly then, Gumby became infamous for returning to CAS like a boomerang, and new adopters were made aware of his tendencies. But that didn't stop enthusiastic dog lovers from taking on the Gumby challenge. Consequently, on March 12, 2015, another owner took him in. And for a while, everything was quiet on the Gumby front. It actually looked like he'd settled down. Then, 4 months later, a suspiciously familiar hound showed up at CAS as a stray. Yes, Gumby had returned once again, and the search for his forever home continued. Owner 5 lost Gumby 2 months into their adoption, and the dog turned up at an affiliated shelter 30 miles away from CAS. Owner 6 then returned the hound fairly quickly when Gumby didn't get along with the family's other dog. Was there anyone capable of homing him? Well, when new owner number 7 returned Gumby on January 4th, 2016, it became painfully obvious that he wouldn't settle down. During a single month, for example, Gumby had escaped 3 times, one time through a broken screen door. In addition to this, the hound had shown no regard for house training. So what could CAS do about Gumby? They couldn't adopt him out because whenever he escaped, he returned to the shelter. On the other hand, his escape attempts were minimal whenever he stayed with CAS and its staff. In fact, Gumby seemed to love nothing better than basking in their showered affection. There was something else too. Gumby enjoyed the company of the sheltered dogs. More than that, though, he had a temperament that seemed to supplement their own. If they showed fear, Gumby was comforting. If they were on edge, he was calm. In 2016, CAS behavioral team leader Danya Satriel told BarkPost that she had a theory about why Gumby always returned. She said it's because he knows he has work to do. And so there was only one solution to Gumby's situation. CAS itself adopted him. To be more specific, CAS couple Joanna Farrell and John Martin adopted Gumby. And for a time, he served as an ambassador for new shelter dogs, as his calming nature helped their behavioral training. But his role at the shelter didn't end there. On June 4th, 2016, the group announced on Facebook that Gumby had become a blood donor for CAS kittens too. You see, veterinarians used an extract from his blood to make drops for treating kittens that had infected eyes. Then, on October 7th, 2017, CAS reported that Gumby now lives in New York City with Farrell and Martin. But the former CAS employees kept in touch and updated the shelter on the hound's progress. "We're loving life with Gumby. He loves New York City and sleeps in bed with us," his humans reported. And the best news, Gumby has never tried to escape. He's such a mommy and daddy's boy. He's glued to our sides at all times, and we can open the apartment door and let him off leash inside our building without worrying. So it looks like Gumby's finally settled, and he couldn't be happier.